question is life insurance controversial in the Kenyan community? Because you brought it up as a topic to speak about, and then you jumped on it as that, yes, that's a very good thing to talk about. Now, for me, being outside of the Kenyan community, to me, it's very it seems like almost a casual topic. It's understood. Like, of course, you would have life insurance. So that's why I ask: is that something that is more controversial in your community? Is that something that people struggle with having? Like, some people don't, some people do, or usually people don't.
Yeah, life insurance. So yeah, so we are talking about life insurance. Where is your take? Do you believe in it? Do you care to have it? Do you educate people to have it? Is it beneficial? Sometimes we are scared as a Kenyan, like, I don't want to talk about death. I don't want to talk about when I'm dead. So if it's life insurance from my company, from job, okay, but I may not go out there to buy it. But I need education. So maybe from today I can go buy life insurance. Who knows about life insurance? I know you do. So a lot of people really don't want to talk about life insurance because they don't want to think about death and they don't think they're going to die. So a lot of people that I talk to about life insurance is people that have children. If something happens to me, what is going to happen to my children? Who's going to pay for the school? How are they going to be taken care of? And things like that. Also, if you have a mortgage, if I die right now, I've got two children, and I have a husband, and I have a mortgage. I want to make sure that if I'm not there anymore, they can mourn me, but they're not going to worry about paying for mortgage. They're able to still have the same lifestyle that we had. So I really think life insurance is really important for people that have children and have mortgages, and then also funeral cost. Like, we can use this example like what we had right now, for in this family. It's good to have what we did when we're having the meeting so that we can raise funds. It will reach to a point where everybody has so much going on that there's an amount that's required to either, bury somebody or send them back home. But if they had the life insurance, we can just be there for this family to not to worry about finances because they had already taken care of their own life insurance or whoever. I'm just using this as an example. Yeah, so I think life insurance is a really good thing to have.
But I feel like whether we have life insurance or not, nobody will ever know. Because, like, for example, if somebody dies, you don't go ahead and ask, did they have life insurance? Do we contribute or not? So,
Well, you will when you the family will know if they have life insurance. That's the first thing they'll always ask. Even when you go to the funeral home, they're gonna ask if this family had life insurance. Someone in the family will know, especially the beneficiary. Yeah. So the beneficiary will always know there's life insurance. The
So, like with life insurance, when you sign up for it, it asks you who are your beneficiaries. So, those people you're signing them up for as your beneficiaries, you can also have and let them into whatever you are carrying, so that in case of anything, they are there. They know this is happening. This is what you have. You have this kind of benefits. This is what is going on. Okay, the other controversial thing I was going to say about what you're saying about insurance, the reason why most of our it's a traditional thing from our culture, my culture, as a Kalenjin, we believe you don't prepare for the future. Like, why would you be thinking about your death? This is a very, not a good topic, sensitive topic to talk about, especially with your elders, because it's like you're inviting something that's not required. So that's why most people kind of avoid it. And bringing up like, hey, when I die, I want so and so to do this. I want to be buried here. I want this to happen here. No, it's something that's been shunned out, something that they discourage for a very long time. But I'll say also, I'm proud that most people are coming out to discuss this and want this life insurance so they can prepare for the future, as she said. It's all the beneficial things that she said. Yeah.
You said that we Africans, it's not just Kalenjins, but everybody is afraid of death. But also, on the other hand, if you look at the most religious continent, is Africa. But then, how comes we always are afraid to talk about death while we say we want to see Jesus, and the only way to see him
You know that actually, I do want to see Jesus. I don't know whether I want to do it today.
Someday.
I know that's a very interesting way of looking at it. But going back to the question of life insurance, I did not. It never occurred to me that I needed life insurance until I had my kids. That was the wake up moment. And what happened is one time I was driving, so I used to do trucking, and sometimes we used to do 16 hours on the road, and I was very exhausted. And I remember driving from home in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was going to pick up my truck and go to work, and I started feeling dizzy, and I had to call my wife because I thought, man, I'm having a stroke or something. Went to the hospital and spent about 8 hours. Just there was nothing. It was just exhaustion.
So why did you call your wife to tell him about insurance?
No, actually, it's just a support system. Like you gotta inform somebody something is not. That's when they hit me. My life is very short. Things can just go downhill. Then what do I have for my kids? And actually, that is when I bought my first policy of life insurance. So I do have life insurance. And I bought it not because of me, but because I thought about the girls. And I said, if anything happens to me today, people will come and fundraise for me and all that stuff. But then, what happens to their mortgage? It covers your mortgage. So at least if I make sure that they have a home they can come to, then the food, everyday living expenses, that can be covered. And I didn't leave any burden behind. To me, that's what made me buy my life insurance. That was it. There was nobody else. It's just them. What will happen to them. Now, in terms of the question of the African community, that is a very sensitive topic. Because as you all know, the day when we went to plan the funeral, we went to the funeral home to discuss about 𝐬𝐻. They were telling us, hey, you can buy, a burial site for you and for your spouse. And they even took us around and showed us people have estate. There's something called an estate where the whole family has bought like 6 or 7 plots and they have fenced it. If you go to the same funeral where we came from, people have planned it out. Am I the first one to jump in? And I said no. Hell no. So I differentiate between the two. The life policy that I need to secure my kids and me planning for my way I'm going to be buried. Those are two different things. That one, I'm not very ready about that. But at least I have something that can pay for it. But going to start telling my kids, that's a bit too much.
I will have a question for you. So my question is, I have bought a policy. I'm asking you because I know soon it'll come to you as a professional on this. If I buy life insurance, must I tell the people that I've listed as beneficiary? That's question number one. Let's say I buy and I forget to tell them that I bought. Are there some companies that can be so They wouldn't, yeah, they wouldn't even inform my beneficiary like she had life insurance, because in Kenya, here I would trust. In Kenya, tell you what, I don't think so. Because you die, they'll never tell you. You guys, you can look for us.
So the agent that you actually use to purchase life insurance will find out that person passed away. They're gonna notify. So like if you call me and you buy life insurance from me, there's gonna be at some point in life where you need to be removed from the policy. They'll ask, why are you being removed from the policy? You passed away. We know that customer has life insurance.
Because some people have automatic, like I have known people.
The company is going to report it. It must be reported that you have passed away. So you at least have to tell somebody in the family that you have life insurance. Tell your child. If you don't trust your spouse to tell them you have life insurance because you think they'll kill you, then you can tell one of your child or somebody you trust.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you also write it on the will so that you have like a lawyer and they can read it out for you? Yeah.
You must put it on the will.
Yes. So that'd be.
Just to add on the how to track somebody after they die, right? Once I'm a nurse and I'm also a life insurance agent, but once they write that death certificate, it triggers to the insurance company that someone has died.
Correct.
And that is, if your agent has moved out of state or you don't even remember your agent, they'll be able to track you down. They'll track your family. So your money is not going into a waste. Yeah.
She had a
Because
question. She had a question.
okay, go ahead.
Go on.
Well, just to let you know, so whenever we do life insurance, there's so much information that's in there that we're going to reach the beneficiary. So there is the phone number, there's an address, there's everything that we're going to reach that beneficiary, and that money has to be paid out.
Straying away from the topic of life insurance briefly, is it also then taboo in your culture to have a last will and testament, or is that more common?
Wait, it's not a taboo.
It's not, can you repeat your question again?
Yeah.
Okay, start, yeah.
So it seems that it's a little bit taboo to talk about death and to prepare for the future in terms of life insurance. Is it also taboo to have a will in your culture, to have it, written down, your last will and testament? This is what you want done with your property. This is who you want to have custody of your children. Is that something also that people don't discuss?
So I'm going to talk about my own experience. When my dad passed away, I think he was in his 70s. We had nothing. There was nothing in writing. There was nothing like who's going to inherit what. There was no will. There was like nothing in writing. And I think in my culture sometimes, I think people are so afraid of death. And also like it's a taboo. Like you really don't want to accept like you're going to be dying, unless you really go to very, very old age where it's like, super, natural over 100. But yeah, so I think it's somehow a taboo. We're so afraid of that topic. We try to ignore it until it happens, And I've seen that a lot. And even me, I'm a victim, or I'm a culprit, because she's looking at me. Because she has been talking to me about life insurance. And I've been like, please don't pressure me. I don't want to hear it. I know I need it. I've learned, I'm a nurse as well. I've learned, I understand, I know I need it. But I also be like, later, But we know very well that as you keep pushing and saying it's later, that later may not happen, Things can happen from my way here, home from here. I may not make it home. And I didn't have that life insurance set up. So we keep postponing. And I think that's the challenge we have. Another thing, I think we have fear of, what if people know that I have $1 million? And then, especially if I have a beneficiary who is not kind of like, they might want to push me off they might want to push me off the cliff. So I think we have that kind of controversy. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
I agree.
Okay.
The fear, the majority of, if you look at a lot of our culture, and I would say culture because I find there's a lot of fear ingrained in how we look at things. We fear life. Our parents raised us, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And I think that also kind of creates that constraint in our thinking about how to look at life in general. And so death is held as a very, it has its own stigma. Even though we are Christians, even though we profess the faith, even though we always go and say, the only way to see God is through death, we don't still want it to be close to us at all. And so that feeling of, can I plan for it? Can I plan for for my death? No. Because I don't want to even think that it's ever going to happen. Even though in our hearts and in our minds and in our body, we know that's where we're all heading, but we still don't want to accept it, that we need to plan towards that. Yeah.
I think it also comes from, as a people, we are a reactive culture. I don't think we are proactive. It's just not how we were conditioned. It's always reactive, like, oh, this has happened, so now we're going to do this. So that element of planning ahead is really not a factor for us. So it's something we're learning. But along that, don't forget we're also, how can I say? Christianity is something that was brought to us on top of whatever cultural elements we had. So we have all these things, like, okay, so the Kalenjins look at things like this, Kikuyus look at things like this, but we have Christianity on top of all these things that's simmering at the bottom that really never went away. So yes, I do accept Jesus and I have a relationship with Jesus. But at the same time, I grew up in the village. I grew up in a home that had all these, the surface was really what African culture was. So right now, yeah, my grandpa is old. He has a lot of property, but you can't talk about a will because he's like, oh, no, you're calling my death. You're making me call death. So then that is coming from the cultural element. And then as much as Christianity is part of us, most of our society is not all-rounded Christianity. We still have to navigate all these things. So in general, we're not there. We're not a proactive, we're a reactive society. So there's that. And then something like this contribution, like things happen, we kind of, at the back of our mind, that's how African society was. It's like people get together, we solve this thing together. So there's that mentality that's not going away. Now, culture, we're transitioning, we're becoming a very individualistic culture, but that's not who we are. So now we have to learn to have this going on, which in reality is like, okay, so I didn't take a life insurance policy. People will come and raise money for me, but is it enough? Is it going to take care of my family? We're not navigating all that. So I feel like, yeah, this is a good topic. We start talking about it. Life insurance, I think not looking at it as, oh, I'm just planning for my death.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't want the burden to be left for my family. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, I took life insurance when I was very young. As soon as I got married, we didn't have any children. I had mine before I was even married. Just because, also it depends on the upbringing, right? It's like, I've never lived in a space where I know I've moved a lot. So every time I'm in a new state, it's like I'm building community around myself. So then I was like, I'm going to go to Washington. I don't know anybody. If something happens to me, they don't even know me to come and say, hey, we're going to raise money for you. And that's, so I think if we change the way we think, it's like, okay, I get that we have our cultural element and we don't like talking, we're not comfortable with that, rightfully so. But again, it's like, even the burden is like the burden on whoever the few people that know you. Even right now, it's like, okay, so yeah, I can think about my kids, but I'm also from a place of like, I like to take care of, what is my husband going to do? Like, what is life going to look for him for 6 months after I'm gone? So I think just all these things together is something we have to navigate, but most of it is like the learning curve is very high for us as far as reactive versus proactive culture.
Let me. Can I? Okay.
To just respond to what you were saying about transitioning to having a more individualistic mindset. Again, me coming from outside of the Kenyan community and just seeing how everyone came together in this period of crisis, I would say yes, everyone make plans for your future. Never lose this network coming together. If you find out that someone had life insurance and their stuff is covered and you don't need to fundraise, that's fine. Still, come to do something else then. Bring food. Their life insurance their mortgage is covered. Fundraise for college. I don't know. Keep doing that, because this was very healing to come into this situation and being able to contribute also, because sometimes with death you just feel powerless, that you can't reverse it, you can't fix it, so you want to do something. So it's very good that you guys have like something that you can do that's bringing you together. But the way this society functions anyhow, a lot of times sometimes we don't have those networks. So if you can make whatever plans for your future that you need to make, especially with this is what I want to say, the will, especially because here, I don't know how it works in other countries, but here if you don't have a will, it's not like, we'll figure it out when the person dies. The government's gonna take a big chunk out of it. It's not even going to go to your loved ones. If you don't have a plan, the government takes a big chunk, and then they decide, well, we think it should go here or there. So yeah. So the best thing to do is have your own plan, so that strangers don't have to decide for you. But
So actually,
yeah.
So you mean this is hurting my feelings? So I work hard and have gone to meet the Lord. No, yeah, I work hard and I'm no longer living. I have whatever I have. The house maybe is paid off. The car is paid off. What are you saying? The government is going to take it away? As who?
If you haven't, who is going to inherit it? It's myself.
Well,
yes.
You're gone.
No, when you're gone.
So they'll take it.
Yes.
No. Well, that's
Depends on what's on your paperwork.
Yeah.
What did you put as in when you during your will? Let's say you didn't make a will, but then you've paid off your home. So it's only you. So when you are gone and there's no one else to claim it, they have so many other places they can send it to. So.
No, can I tell?
Including the state itself.
So I think. Oh no, go ahead.
I had when we were talking about will. I was just gonna say, yes, she's mentioned everything about the curve on how we are climbing. It's very stiff because we are not there yet. Also we call that the Arambe, the togetherness of Tiras. So we are way ahead because we have that one. So if we can just step on the insurance and the will, we are all good.
Yeah.
So we are striving on two things, and the first thing is like the will, which we encourage most of our parents, the people at home, to just kind of change their mindset into it. And us too, for whatever we have here, we change into that. And then if we also have insurances for our kids, for ourselves and everything, and then the togetherness that we always have, we are good.
And if I may add,
You are going to say something.
Yeah, I was.
go ahead, say something.
Well, the reason a will is really important is to prevent conflict. So if you have 4 children, 2 children, you need to have a will so that they know what goes where. Otherwise, you're going to live this family fighting, figuring out. But if you had a son and you know that's the next of kin, that would be the person getting. So will is really if you're trying to make sure what's going where. Yeah.
But then, well, no, I was gonna say your debt is probably involved in that too. But so like yeah, so life insurance also cover some of your debts that you have?
Yes.
Yes.
It does.
So the beneficiary that gets the life insurance will know.
sorry.
Well, okay. So whoever you have selected as the beneficiary is would pay out whatever was owed. If it was mortgage, if it was what for anything that was owed, and they still have a lot more left based on what the amount of life insurance you purchased.
Yeah. Then there's something I also wanted to add to the social network. As she put it, if there's anything more important that us as the African community have, is that social network. Sometimes we associate it with just fundraising, but in actual sense, the connections created during those gatherings are actually, they last a lifetime. We take an example of these meetings that we've been having here. We've met people you never met before, you never knew before. We have discovered each other's talents within this group itself. Okay, and that is actually more valuable than even the money that you're giving. Because guess what? If I now hear Nancy has something going on in her life, if there's an emergency, so I'll be willing to, I know Nancy. She's no longer a stranger to me. So she might have a life insurance, she might have the money to pay all the things that needs to be paid, but the fact that I'm going to show up for her family, that is the most important. Because you think about it today. Look, remember during the funeral, when we had to close that casket and throw that dirt, we sealed that one. But this family relied on the people who are here. That connection that they have created when she was alive. And that is what is more valuable here than anything else. So if you can have the life insurance and keep the network, I would say you're good to go. We can't get rid of that. That's it. That's it. Just go that extra step and cover your family now. Think about it. You gotta make it intentional. What am I doing to make sure that my family is not going to be in a predicament when I'm not here? Is their mortgage paid? Is there money to pay for that mortgage? Are their debts paid? Do they know what they need to do when I'm not here? That is critical. Once you've gone past that level, you have the social network, you have the churches, you have the groups, jumuiyas, whatever. You're good to go. Yeah.
Let me talk about writing a will. So when I was in the army, you are required to write a will. And that broke me. Because I'm young. Why are you telling me to write a will? Maybe I don't even have anything. But you will write a will, you say, when I die, which church is going to bury me? They have all that. Actually, they have our dog tags. They have your name, your social, and the church you belong to. So if you die and you don't have family to identify you, the church will be called, hey, we have this person, we have seen this head, this is a person. But the moment I was writing that, I cried for no reason. I am not dead. I am not sick, and I'm writing. Because we had to write, and you have to give it up. So I'm writing. I don't even know how to write a will. So these are things that you get worried, because sometimes, I'm sorry to say, with our culture, not right now, those days many years ago, which will was associated with old age. You will not get a 20-year Sam writing a will. It's when someone is getting old. And the second reason they were writing a will is because of, so back home, people fight after someone is dead. The wives, you can close your ears. The wives, once you lose your husband, they'll chase you away without anything. So if you don't have a will, then you're left without a will or without anything. But if you have a will, then that might dictate if they don't corrupt. In Kenya, they can do anything. So, yeah.
So let's talk about the types of insurances too, the life insurance. I think most people, they don't know about, they know just the traditional whole life insurance, whereby you just buy it for when you die. That takes care of, that takes care of your family or, everything else. But we also have the IUL, which is the Index Universal Life Insurance. It has a cash value. So people want to use that when it's the living benefits. So that is one thing that people don't know. Most people, when you tell them about insurance, they're like, that's just money I'm just wasting. I'm never going to ever use it. And they pull back. They don't want to pay, that life policy. But the cash value, you can use it when you're living. You can use it for your kids, for your kids' school. You can use it to even pay a down payment on your house or for your kids, whatever you want to use that for. And the money in the life insurance grows compounding. It's a compound, it grows on a compounding rate. So you're not losing your money. Your money grows, it works for you. You're not working hard, and you're protected. Number one, of all the other things, it comes with all that benefit. So that's one thing that we need to, educate ourselves and just, climb that hill.
So to add to what Susan said, so she talked about the whole life IUL and universal index. So there's certain people that are able to afford those policies. Some people will not buy life insurance because of cost. So there is some life policies that's a 10-year, 30-year, even 40-year term. So if you think you have a 30-year loan, by this age, I'll be paid off with my mortgage. So you can buy a policy that's a term policy that's less expensive than IUL, and also, if anything happens between that time, you pass away, they're able to pay out the mortgage. It's less expensive than the IUL, just for those that want to buy life insurance for a lower cost.
I have a question. So my question is, for instance, today I buy a policy and something happens, life changes, switching jobs, losing jobs, and I can no longer pay my policy. And let's say, so I'm behind like 3 months. If something happened, do I qualify? And if I don't qualify, what happens to the money that I've been contributing for even 10 years?
So that was what Susan was talking about. That's the IUL, the universal life. So that's the whole life policy. So you can pay more into it and miss some of the months. For the term life policy, it's you pay every month. So if you miss to make your payments, you lose that policy. So that's why it's less expensive. So you just
the policy and I lose the
and
money
you don't bill. Yes, that's not it. That's just for you're buying that one for if you die within that time frame, then there's money to pay for the mortgage or your kids' school and things like that. But for universal life, it's your whole life, and it does build cash value that you can take out and use it for a down payment on a house or school fee, school tuition. Correct. In 3 months you didn't, so you don't lose that policy. So you could surrender and get some money out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Achela seems like he's scratching his ear.
Because he has a whole life item.
Yes, that's what I have.
Yeah, he needs some IUL.
I think what I wanted to say was I think the reason why most Kenyans or as Kenyan as a community we don't participate in these things is we simply just don't know. There's just not enough awareness about it because we come from home and you can run into this information, and even in your first job, like remember when we would get into the job and they would give us you're a full-time employee, so they're telling you about all this 401k and life insurance policies actually comes with most full-time benefit jobs, but number one, we don't know, and all we care about is like, how much are you gonna cut off my check again? I mean, you're in a place where you're in a place where you need your whole full check, and somebody's over here talking about, oh, I'm gonna cut off 6% or 3%. See, we don't know, and then. Well, some of us were young. I mean, I'm 19 years old. You're talking about what, life insurance?
Yeah.
I'm not going to die anytime soon, so I'll worry about that later. So I think a lot of it's just not knowing. And at this point, I think we need a class in the plane, like on our way here. There should be They should they should be that the welcome to America packet for Kenyans and cover these topics. Because I feel like most people just don't know. Because if you know coming in, like, hey, you know what? So just the way they tell you, you're gonna go get a driver's license, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this, social security. They should add life insurance policy,
Also
401k,
savings. Yep.
you know,
401k,
things
the
that,
Rota A.
and maybe go to a course that has pension. Like right now, I'm getting to that age where I'm like, ooh, I should have had pension. Like that would help. So I'm just saying we don't know. So if there's a way to raise awareness for these things, I think that's the path that we should take.
Yeah, and then I think, and to add to what you just said, there's a way we look at our retirement, and especially coming from Kenya. We look at our retirement in terms of apartment complexes.
That's right. Investment in Kenya.
Investment.
And land.
So when I start working, when I start working, the first thing I'm looking is how fast can I get that, plot maguta, and start building myself an apartment complex. That way I have reserve income coming in. And that is how we look at it. And we got this from our parents. They always taught us, you go to school, you work hard, you buy yourself a property and build. That is our retirement, that you can sit back there and just be both working with this. Exactly. Getting this, get me money here, managing apartment complexes. That way I can be able to have that reserve income. So we don't think in terms of you can have stocks, options, and all those kind of things that will still be bringing money to us when we are retired, when we can't even manage those apartment complexes. And that's what has driven us to even not think about long-term insurance. If our fathers, if our parents were talking about life insurance when we were young and not apartments, this will not be an issue at all. So we all came from that background where we saw our parents retire to that. This is the line. You buy land, you develop it. Once you develop it, then, there's a reserve income coming in every month.
Can I ask a question and then she's going to wind up, so I think we have no time. So the question I'm about to ask, do not judge me. It's not for me. Yeah, she's already judging me. So can I buy an insurance for someone and they don't know that I have bought for them? Because I said she's already judging me.
I knew that already.
So, to write a policy, unless it's your children, anybody under 18 years old, they're under you, that's your children. You can buy a policy for them because you have the information. But you're not going to buy a life insurance for your husband if he doesn't know. He needs to say yes to run reports.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had that, right?
What?
Somebody had insurance and the person didn't know, and then when they died, somebody cashed it.
Well, I don't know because I don't know. That's fraud.
They do that here too.
You cannot do that.
Yes. Oh yes. People do it.
If you get fined, that's very illegal. That's fraud.
Oh, you go to jail? She got something.
But legally, you can get a policy for someone if they know.
Yes.
Okay, and does it have to be a relative?
No, it can't be a-
Okay.
it can be a friend, but they need to be the one.
Okay.
to say yes.
I was wondering because my mom had insurance. She has an insurance policy on me, but she let me know that. But I'm over 18.
Were you young?
Yeah.
Over 18, but she knew.
No. I think I might have already been married at the time. And then she had insurance policies on her mother, on my other grandmother, who's her mother-in-law. But I mean, it's not.
But they know.
Yeah, it was never secret. It was always known. Okay.
It needs to be known.
Let me answer one more thing related to that. So with life insurance policy, let's say I have 3 kids, and one of them does not qualify for the life insurance for maybe medical condition, because these insurances you don't just buy, you have to qualify. Your health has to talk for you. Your age matters. because that's how much you will pay.
Yeah, I
according
didn't
to your
mention
age.
that.
Yes. So yes.
I should have checked myself off.
So the way I'm trying to think, maybe her mom maybe had some condition, or she's looking at her age. Her insurance will be expensive, and she took it on her so that it's less. But she owns the policy under her name. Maybe she has two of them. She'll give her one, if, whenever anything happens. And then the other one, she can use it when she's leaving. Again, that's how it can be structured. It's okay as long as you're related and they are aware.
Well, they don't have. I don't know. They don't have to be real. I can buy a life insurance for Jenny, and pay for it, but you have to approve me to do that.
Yeah, we have to approve. Yes.
Correct.
So if I know my friend is about
To go.
And you want to help them.
and I want to help them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Help in what?
Listen.
She's not agreeing now.
So why is she looking at me like that?
It's gonna depend. Don't put, as long as it's gonna be questionable if you put yourself as a beneficiary.
Ah.
Yeah, because it's going to get reviewed. Yes.
I'm out.
They know you.
Okay, I think before we finish, I just wanted to say I think this is a topic that we really need to sit down and discuss. I remember one time at work, there's this friend of ours, we used to talk, whatever. She's, she was middle-aged, I think 40s or 50. So she was still an active young lady. But she got a stroke at work in the break room. And from that day, it took her so long, I think she was not able to walk, she was not able to talk. So that is when I came to realize how important it is, because I think at the end of the day, she had to go back to Kenya because she was kind of established back home. But I was thinking about myself and I'm like, I'm not. And I'm like, so if something like that was to happen, I think she was my age. If something like that was to happen to me, I feel like I have no plan. Honestly, and it's good to have something. So that's why I say we need to revisit this topic with many people. People need to learn. Like she said, knowledge is power. We really need education. Even when you talked to me the first time, I was like, leave me alone. But if you sit down and teach me,
She's asking for forgiveness.
but I think you were not a good teacher then. So you need to go slow. You need to go slow and take us step by step. It's not life insurance the way we know. It's more about what do you really gain. If I was not able to work, it's not just because I die. Things happen. Today I was incapacitated. I'm not able to work for 6 months, for a year, or for the rest of my life here. But I'm still alive. I should be able to continue living. I don't want to be moved out of my house today. You know what I mean? How many people have we seen that they lose their house because they lost their job? So if you're not able to work today, you should be able to have something to take care of at least your mortgage or whatever bills you've been paying regularly, as you even plan to transition. You know what I mean? To something else. Let's say you are planning, maybe I should probably sell this house because the equity is good. Maybe I can sell it and go to another state and buy something. Or maybe I can sell it and go back to Kenya and I'll have something left. Because let's say I bought my house it was 300,000, and there was a time it went up to almost 600,000 in equity. So if I sold my house, I probably take home almost 400,000. If I went with that 400,000 to Kenya, I probably would live a more comfortable life. Maybe I'm not able to work as well, but I'll be able to, But meanwhile, you don't sell the house tomorrow. It's a process. So we need more education. We need more, and take us slowly. Don't just jump into life insurance and I'm like, you want me to die, huh? Thank you.
I think too, my biggest thing. Did you stop it?
Interview,
Rabbit in it. So anyway, what I was gonna say, last but not least, is okay, so there's life insurance, right? But then there's other things that are very much available to us that I think we should learn to take advantage of it. You were talking about being incapacitated. You're a full-time job employee. You have short-term life insurance policies.
But it's only 3 months.
That's good. That gets you moving, right? You got that going on, and then you sign up for your long term. So these things are there. We just have to, and then like financial literacy too. Like we have programs out there that are really really good. Like what's this guy's name? I mean, he's one of them. He helps you, but he covers those topics though. Like he does cover the the short term, whatever. Like those are things. If you had that going, you're better off than nothing. And he I like him because he's like baby step building you up. Like from us, when we don't know nothing, he's a good starting point. And then once you get to know, you move on to other things. So I highly recommend. So thank you for the topic. It was good.
Beautiful interview. Thank you for your participation. It's been a very great topic. And now that we have 2 agents of insurance, so all of us here should start buying insurance if you don't have any. And then the next thing is we meet together to maybe talk about insurance and savings and future. Yeah. So thank you everybody for participation. And thank you to she's gonna finish.
Okay. Just to sum up, if you're interested, we have Zoom meetings every Wednesday, and I can send the link 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so I can send a link. We can do one-on-one too, Zoom meetings, and we can just do education about how life insurance works, what is it, what we really do, and all that. So yeah, feel free, get my contact, and Maven too.
And when you let me say this so you can answer
Yeah,
too.
go for it.
When you give us these interviews, this information and classes, give us the pros and cons. Don't just give us the list of all the good things.
Correct.
And then there you'll be like, oh no, you are limited because of your diagnosis, because of this and this, you cannot qualify for this. So we need everything.
Yes. And that's what happens. When we do the application, they're going to ask all of those things. What medication are you taking? How old are you? How many? What's your weight? Exactly. Because weight really matters. Yeah. Weight really matters. Well, guys, I also don't just do life insurance. I do all types of insurance. Auto, home, business. So if you need any of that, check with me. You should always review your policy because every company is different. And always review your coverage. Make sure you have the right coverage. So I'm your person.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's Mkenya Marekani. We've had people introduce yourselves. Your name, real quick. Your name and what you do. Oh, pass this mic.
My name is Koi. I'm a registered nurse.
My name is Maven. I'm an insurance agent.
My name is Alni. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Jenny, social worker.
Susan, I'm a licensed financial professional. I'm also a registered nurse.
My name is Nancy. I'm a registered nurse.
I'm Lydia, and I'm also a nurse.
Wow, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. They say information is not power. It's not power until you use it. It's put into use. So that's Mkenya Marekani. All these people are refusing to do an interview. And they've taken so much time. They've taken too much. Others have advertised for free. You have a bill after this. But we let's be open, Kenyans. Let's be open to have this type of discussions. Not just this, but because I ask people, how do you start a business and stuff like that? They say it's God, it's God. You wonder, what are we praying? So Kenyans, let's be open to give information, even about drugs, because a lot of Kenyans are incarcerated, like 45%. So let's be open to talk about topics. So if I call you out, let's come support. If you have knowledge, let's share this knowledge. Yeah, thank you so much. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Mkenya Marekani. God bless you. If you have a business or a story you want to tell, talk to us ndani ya Mkenya Marekani. God bless you.
Thank you.